Today I'm going to tell you everything I know about some of the great art and architecture in Chicago. Have you seen this one before? This is an awesome sculpture by Alexander Calder. These kids are not ant size in real life, so you can only imagine how huge this sculpture is. This sculpture is located in Federal Plaza and was placed here in 1974. It is called the Flamingo. Does it look like a flamingo to you? Some of the art and architecture are so famous in Chicago and so recognizable that you'll even see it in movies.
What do you think Ferris is going to do?
It's going to be a fry cook on Venus.
Like, that's the Picasso over there. That's the one. So when you read about it in the history books, that's the one they're talking about. That's my Chicago accent. Sound good? It's true though. That is the Picasso.
Well, this is definitely Lower Wacker Drive. If my estimations are correct, we should be very close to the Honorable Richard J. Daley Plaza. That's where they got that Picasso. Yep.
Came to Chicago in 1967, given by Picasso himself. You know, Picasso, the blue guitarist guy. People are not exactly sure how they felt about the sculpture when it arrived in Daley Plaza. Want to see it up close? Oh no, really, you can actually touch it and climb it and walk on it. Okay, not that close. Just as much a monument of the city as the Sears Tower. Oh wait, more about that later. The bean! This isn't actually a bean at all. This is a sculpture by the artist Anish Kapoor. He designed Cloud Gate for Millennium Park in 2006. This super reflective surface has become a super attraction for families and artists. This is a painting an artist made of Cloud Gate. Isn't it beautiful? Sometimes, on a hot day, I have thought about jumping into Buckingham Fountain, but don't. I am pretty sure it is illegal. This huge fountain was put in Grant Park in 1927. It was designed by Daniel H. Burnham and Edward H. Bennett. Look at that gorgeous stonework. Pro tip, it doesn't stay on all night, so get there early to see the nice lights. If it is a hot day and you do feel like jumping in a fountain, you can take a dip in Crown Fountain, located in Millennium Park. The gigantic faces are all Chicagoans. 75 different Chicago organizations were asked to send volunteers to the Art Institute of Chicago to be filmed with super high-tech cameras for just a few minutes. At one point, the sculpture rotated through 960 portraits and plans to continually add more faces. Wouldn't it be cool if one of those faces was you? One of my favorite buildings is the Harold Washington Library. Those gargoyle things on top are amazing. I don't think it even made an appearance in The Dark Knight. You know, the Batman movie that was filmed in Chicago, but it looks straight out of Gotham to me. I know, I should have added a clip or something, but those chase scenes were just way too scary. Here is the #1 tourist attraction in the city. Who doesn't want to go to a musty, smoky old brick building? This is what Navy Pier looked like around the time it was built in 1916. It was actually a pier. Well, over the last 60 years, it has had its ups and downs as a venue for concerts and events, but it is finally in its prime as a fine arts capital in the city. The pier has public art, a radio station, attractions, restaurants, and even ships. Did I say earlier that I loved the library? I meant I loved the Art Institute, not the building itself, I guess. But what is inside? Please tell me you have been here before. The Art Institute of Chicago was built in 1893, originally built as one of the original buildings for the World's Fair, along with the Museum of Science and Industry. The neoclassical style of architecture influenced the entire country at the time. What style is this? This is the old Chicago Water Tower, and it was built in 1869. Interestingly enough, it was built as a pumping station to take water from Lake Michigan back in the old days, but now it is actually a little art gallery. After the Great Chicago Fire in 1871, the old water tower was one of the few buildings left standing. The Great Chicago Fire destroyed over 3 miles of downtown and really was started in Old Lady O'Leary's barn. Have you heard that camp song? Anyway, well, that's all the important buildings. Hope you enjoyed the show. Wait. Skyscrapers? Oh yeah, those are kind of a big deal in Chicago. Let's start kind of small. The Crane Communications Building was built in 1984. It is only 582 feet tall. But it is quite unique architecturally, and you have seen Adventures in Babysitting, haven't you?
Daryl, Brad, loosen the rope. Come on, hurry.
Here, let me give you a hand now.
Dad, grab the rope.
Easy.
That's the most exciting thing that's happened all night.
All right, just take it really slow. Don't be scared of him, Sarah. Okay, that's good. Don't look down. Okay, that's good. Keep walking, that's right. Just walk right by him, pretend he's not even here. Hold on. That's it, just walk right up. Right, you're almost there, hang on.
This building's roof sets itself apart from the others on the skyline with that awesome diamond shape. I know you've seen Marina City too. It was finished in 1968. Check out these guys looking at the model. Architecturally, many say it looks like corn on the cob, but it is actually an urban modern mixed-use building. Parking, living, office space, theater, bowling, all in one. Look at all that has been built around it since the 60s. These towers stand 587 feet tall. It was designated landmark status in 2016. You might remember the guy walking a tightrope across the Chicago sky, tethered to one of these. You remember that?
You guys watching think I'm crazy, but this is what I was made for.
There are an awful lot of people down there, Nick, cheering for you. I know you can hear it.
Oh yeah, I can. It's amazing to hear that roar. It's pretty unreal. The Siene Building is another huge part of the Chicago skyline. It's not very interesting to look at, much like its rectangular counterpart, the Aon Center, further north, but it's red and 600 feet tall. The monumental Aon Center, right on the lakefront, is 1,136 feet tall and rectangular and white. Did you know one of the most famous buildings in Chicago no longer has a name? It's just 875 North Michigan Avenue. Doesn't that sound catchy? Tourists from all over go and eat in the sky deck and take tours up to the 100 stories in the building with no name. It's like the name John Hancock never existed. In February of 2018, the John Hancock Mutual Life Insurance Company, the original tenants of the building, just decided they no longer wanted their name on it. So, 875 North Michigan was started in 1965. At that time, it was the second tallest building in the world, just behind the Empire State Building in New York. There are 10 Trump Towers in the world, so you better be specific when you are telling your Uber driver where you are going. The Chicago Tower is the second tallest in our city. Finished in 2008, it stands 1,388 feet tall. Speaking of identity crisis, the Willis, formerly known as Sears Tower, crowns Chicago like a candle on a cake. Completed in 1970, it stood as the tallest building in the world for 20 years and is still the tallest building in Chicago and the 14th tallest in the world. Can you believe how tall these skyscrapers have become? Remember when the John Hancock 875 North Michigan Avenue was one of the tallest just over 50 years ago? Chicago has been inspiring artists, musicians, and people all over the world with its renowned modern, postmodern, classical, eclectic mix of art and architecture. I hope you go to the city soon and share all you have learned and eat some deep dish pizza. Pizza. Hey everybody, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to click like and hit subscribe below. Thanks!